Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint Podcast. We're here to help you make those retirement dreams a reality.
That's right. Turn those dreams into a rock-solid plan.
And today it looks like we're diving into a pretty interesting topic, gold IRAs.
Yeah, folks are really looking at how to secure their golden years. Makes sense.
Absolutely. And we've got some great material to help us out today.
Yeah, we do.
Specifically, the Smart Investor's Guide to Gold IRAs. Safeguard your retirement with precious metals.
Catchy title.
Right. This guide really digs deep into how you can use gold to potentially boost your retirement savings.
You know, it's always a good idea to look at all your options. And gold IRAs, well, they have some pretty unique advantages to consider.
For sure. So in this deep dive, we're going to break it all down. First, what exactly is a gold IRA? No jargon, just plain English.
Got to keep it simple.
Then we'll explore the potential benefits and how those benefits could really have an impact on your retirement goals.
Yeah.
What does it mean for you?
Yeah, got to make it personal.
And of course, we want you to feel good about your choices, so we'll talk about how to avoid scams and find a provider you can actually trust.
Super important. And speaking of finding the right provider, we've got that free checklist to help you through that whole process, right?
Absolutely. Head over to goldirblueprint.com for host exclusive for that.
It's packed with tips, what to look for, what to avoid, the whole 9 yards.
Definitely grab that. Makes things so much easier. Now, this guide starts off by talking about something I think a lot of us can relate to. Retirement anxieties.
Oh, yeah.
That worry about running out of money, or the market crashing right when you need it the most.
I think everyone's felt that at some point.
Exactly. And the guide really zeroes in on market volatility and inflation as these big threats to your retirement savings.
Right from the get-go, the guide's introduction just lays out that desire for security in retirement. People want to have a steady income. They don't want their wealth to disappear because of things they can't control.
Makes total sense. And that's where this idea of portfolio diversification comes in.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as they say.
Exactly. So how do gold IRAs fit into this strategy?
Well, the guide presents them as a way to add a safety net to your retirement plan. So instead of just relying on the stock market, you're bringing in an asset that has historically behaved differently. Gold.
So it's like a backup plan in case things get a little rocky.
Exactly. And that can be really appealing to people who are getting closer to retirement and looking for more predictability, peace of mind.
Yeah, I can definitely see the appeal there. Now, I know gold IRA might sound intimidating at first,
Right.
like some super complex thing only for Wall Street types, but the guide actually does a good job of breaking it down.
It really does.
First things first, it emphasizes that a gold IRA is a self-directed IRA, meaning you have more control over where your money's invested.
So you're not just handing it over to someone else and hoping for the best.
Exactly, you're calling the shots. And with a gold IRA, instead of traditional assets like stocks and bonds, you're holding physical gold.
The real deal.
The guide even mentions you can include other precious metals like silver, platinum, palladium.
Like having a little treasure chest.
Right. So you're actually owning tangible assets, not just numbers on a screen.
For a lot of people, that tangibility is really comforting.
I bet. Okay, so let's walk through how this works in practice. The guide mentions these custodians. What's their role in a gold IRA?
So think of custodians as like the guardians of your gold.
Okay.
They handle the storage, all the administration of your precious metals, and make sure everything follows all those IRS regulations.
So they're like the middleman, making sure everything is legit.
Yeah, you got it. They take care of all those details so you don't have to become an expert in gold storage or IRS rules, thank goodness.
And speaking of the IRS, let's talk about taxes.
Everyone's favorite topic.
Right. Well, the good news is gold IRAs offer similar tax advantages to traditional IRAs. So you get tax-deferred growth, meaning your money's growing tax-free until you withdraw it in retirement.
Yeah, that's huge. Helps your money grow more effectively over time.
Absolutely. And it can make a really big difference in the long run, especially as you get closer to retirement. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's pause for a quick reminder.
Okay.
If you want to learn more about finding the right gold IRA company for you, remember we've got that free checklist at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
Packed with tips, what to look for, what to avoid, all that good stuff.
It's a really valuable resource.
For sure.
We'll be back in a flash to continue our deep dive into the potential benefits of gold IRAs. Stay tuned.
Coming right up.
Okay, so let's jump back into our gold IRA deep dive.
All right.
We've established that they're self-directed. You can hold physical gold.
And other precious metals.
Right. And there are those nice tax advantages too.
Tax advantages are always nice.
So now let's talk about why someone might choose a gold IRA over other retirement options.
Yeah, good question.
The guide lays out some pretty compelling benefits.
It does.
One that stood out to me was hedging against inflation.
Huge concern for retirees, especially these days with, prices going up everywhere.
Right, no one wants to see their savings lose value.
Exactly. And that's where gold can come in. The guide explains how, historically, gold has acted as a safe haven during times of high inflation.
Okay.
So as the value of the dollar goes down, the price of gold tends to go up.
So it's like an inverse relationship.
You got it. And that can help protect your portfolio from inflation eating away at your savings.
I see.
It's not a foolproof guarantee, of course, but it has historically provided some stability during those uncertain times.
Okay, that's interesting. So inflation protection, what else?
Let's see. The guide also talks about long-term stability as a key benefit of gold.
And this is where gold history really comes into play, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a store of value for centuries, through wars, empires, all sorts of financial crises.
It's like the ultimate survivor.
Exactly. So while stock markets can be all over the place, unpredictable, gold has pretty consistently held its value over the long term.
So it's not going to make you rich overnight,
Probably not.
but it can provide a solid foundation.
Right. Especially for a retirement plan that could last for decades.
Yeah, got to think long term.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about diversification earlier, and the guide really highlights how gold IRAs can help you spread that risk.
It all comes back to that eggs in one basket idea.
Right. So gold tends to perform differently than stocks and bonds.
Exactly. So when the stock market takes a dip, gold might actually hold steady or even go up in value.
It's like having a buffer.
Exactly. So it can help smooth out those market fluctuations, protect your overall savings.
This is all making sense to me, but I'd love to see some real-life examples.
We do.
And luckily, the guide has some case studies. Shows how people are actually using gold IRAs.
Oh, yeah. The case studies are really helpful. Like, there's Sarah, the retired teacher,
Okay.
worried about inflation and how it would affect her savings. A lot of retirees are in that same boat.
Makes sense.
So she decided to add a gold IRA to her portfolio, to try and protect her purchasing power, give her some peace of mind during retirement.
Not about getting rich, just maintaining her lifestyle.
Exactly. And then there's John and Mary, a couple getting close to retirement. They wanted to protect their nest egg from, market ups and downs.
Volatility, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they saw gold as a way to create a stable base for their retirement income. So they could, enjoy their golden years without worrying about the stock market every day.
It's cool to see how different people are using gold IRAs for their own retirement goals.
Yeah, it's not one size fits all, that's for sure. But it can be a really powerful tool for people who want stability, diversification, and protection from inflation.
So not just a theoretical concept, it's actually helping people.
Right. Real people with real goals. And it's all about finding the right mix of assets for you, your risk tolerance, and your retirement goals.
Okay, so we've talked about the good stuff, but I think we need to address something that might be on people's minds. There are always myths and misconceptions about investments.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Gold IRAs are no different.
Got to separate fact from fiction.
Exactly. So one myth is that gold IRAs are super expensive, like crazy fees eating into your returns.
Yeah, I've heard that one. But the guide addresses this head on.
Okay, good.
It explains that, yeah, there are fees involved, but they're often pretty reasonable compared to other investments. I mean, you got to factor in storage costs, insurance, administration.
Right.
But if you find a reputable provider, those fees should be transparent.
And competitive.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And when you think about the benefits of owning gold, those fees often don't seem so bad.
Okay, so that's one myth busted. What about the idea that setting up a gold IRA is really complicated?
Yeah, that one comes up a lot. But again, the guide makes it clear that a good provider will make the process straightforward.
Okay, good.
They'll walk you through every step, from choosing the right type of gold to setting up the account. All the paperwork, they handle it.
So you don't have to be a gold expert to do this.
Not at all.
It's good to hear.
And a good provider will explain everything in plain English.
Yes.
Make sure you understand what's happening. No one wants to feel lost or confused when it comes to their retirement savings.
Definitely not. Okay, last myth to tackle, and it's a big one. The fear that gold IRAs are a scam.
Yeah, that's understandable, especially with all the scams out there.
So how do we address that?
Well, the guide really stresses that choosing a trustworthy provider is key.
So it comes back to doing your research.
Absolutely. Don't rush into anything. Take your time, compare different companies, look at their fees, their services, read reviews from other customers.
Look for signs of transparency, experience, all that.
Exactly. And never be afraid to ask questions. It's your retirement savings. You deserve to work with a company that you trust completely.
Speaking of trust, maybe this is a good time for another reminder about that free checklist.
Oh, yeah, the checklist.
If you're feeling overwhelmed, want some help choosing a Gold IRA company, head over to goldirblueprint.com, exclusive,
Easy to remember.
and download our free checklist. It's full of tips, things to look for, red flags, questions to ask potential providers.
It's like a roadmap for finding the right Gold IRA partner.
Exactly, and it's completely free.
Can't beat that.
So grab that checklist, and we'll be right back to continue our discussion. All right, we're back, ready to wrap up our Gold IRA deep dive.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
You know, what a Gold IRA is, the benefits, some of those concerns people have.
Hopefully answered some questions along the way.
So as we kind of reach the end here, what are some key takeaways you think listeners should really keep in mind?
Well, I think the big one, the main takeaway is that a Gold IRA can be a really valuable way to diversify your retirement portfolio. You know, it offers that potential hedge against inflation, and you've got that stability of a tangible asset.
Something real.
Exactly, something with a long history of holding value.
Yeah, like adding an extra layer of protection to your plan,
Right, knowing you've got something solid there.
regardless of what the markets are doing.
Exactly. And yeah, there are fees involved, like with any investment,
Sure.
but you got to weigh those against the benefit.
Right, it's all about perspective.
If you choose a good provider, one with transparent pricing, the cost shouldn't be a deal breaker, especially when you consider the peace of mind and that stability that gold can bring.
And the guide really stresses how important it is to do your research.
Oh, absolutely.
Choosing a provider you can trust.
You're trusting them with a big chunk of your savings.
Yeah.
Got to feel confident in their expertise, their honesty.
No rushing into anything.
Nope. Take your time. Compare different companies, read those reviews, ask questions. Don't be shy about that. Really make sure you're comfortable with who you choose.
It's your retirement, after all.
It is.
And, you know, like we've been saying, knowledge is power.
Mm.
The more you know about Gold IRAs, the better decisions you can make about your financial future.
Even if you're not ready to invest in gold right now, just understanding the basics, it puts you in control. You know what to ask, what red flags to look out for.
You can make the best choice for you.
Exactly. It's all about having the right tools, the confidence to create a retirement plan that, really reflects what you want.
Your goals, your values.
Exactly.
And speaking of tools, if you are ready to start exploring your options, don't forget about that free checklist we mentioned.
No, yeah, definitely grab that.
Head over to goldirblueprint.com/exclusive.
It's packed with tips to help you choose the right Gold IRA company.
Think of it as your Gold IRA cheat sheet.
Makes things so much easier, saves you time, money, and maybe some headaches down the road.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, folks, that about wraps up our deep dive on Gold IRAs.
Hope you found it helpful.
We've enjoyed breaking this down with you.
We have.
And hopefully you feel more confident about navigating this whole world of Gold IRAs, making those smart decisions about your retirement future.
It's all about taking control.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to tune in next time for another deep dive.
See you then.
Until then, happy investing.